What if I told you, there's a coin sitting quietly in someone's drawer right now, that looks just like any other, yet it's sold for over $901,000, and what if I told you, that coin might be in your pocket change, or worse, might have slipped through your fingers already? This isn't a myth. This isn't an exaggeration. This is the true story of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, the version with no visible mint mark. A coin most people overlook. A coin most people mistake for pocket change, but here's the twist: not every 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is valuable. In fact, 99.9% of them are worth only face value. But a rare few, a microscopic fraction, are worth thousands, some even bordering $1 million. So how do you know if you have the one that could change your life? Stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the secret behind this unassuming coin, the dangers of ignoring it, and how it became one of the most lucrative surprises in U.S. coinage history, and I promise, by the time we reach the end, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Let's uncover the hidden wealth inside the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. Because one man's junk drawer is another man's jackpot, the year is 1971. The United States Mint had just made a huge decision. A change that would shape the future of American coinage. After the run of 40% silver Kennedy half-dollars from 1965 to 1970, 1971 marked the very first year that the U.S. Mint shifted completely to a copper-nickel-clad composition. No more silver, at least not officially, but something happened. Something unexpected. Something that nobody caught at the time. A small number of 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets meant for the previous year's 40% silver coins. These mistakes slipped through the cracks. They entered circulation. And they vanished into the pockets of unsuspecting Americans. But here's where it gets really interesting: most of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, in those days, didn't use a mint mark. That means there's no P on the coin, just the year. Just 1971. That's where the confusion begins. Thousands of regular, low-value 1971 halves have no mint mark. But among them, hidden like a ghost, are the ultra-rare silver-struck versions. And unless you know how to identify them, you'd never suspect a thing. In 2018, one of these silver 1971 half-dollars, bearing no mint mark, was graded and authenticated as a genuine error. It sold for a staggering $13,000. That wasn't even the record. Another 1971 half-dollar, also struck in silver and featuring near-perfect condition, later sold for over $901,000. Let that sink in. A coin minted after silver was supposedly removed, a coin with no mint mark, sold for nearly $1 million. That's not just valuable. That's history-defying. Now ask yourself, how many people tossed this coin into vending machines? How many threw it into tip jars, or left it in dusty change piles, never knowing the life-altering truth? And the truth is this: mistakes happen at the mint. And when they do, the rare survivors become goldmines for those lucky, or wise, enough to recognize them. Now here's something even more shocking. In 2020, collectors found yet another 1971 Kennedy half-dollar that tested positive for silver content. It wasn't a rumor. It wasn't speculation. The weight was off. The sound was off. The edge looked different. That coin was later tested and confirmed, struck on a silver planchet. Another error. Another fortune. Are you engaged with it? Did you know? Did you know that the only way to truly verify if your 1971 half-dollar is silver is by testing its metal composition, or having it professionally graded? That's where most people miss their chance, because if you don't check, if you don't look, if you don't ask, you'll never know, and the opportunity could be lost forever. So now the question is, what should you do? First, dig into your old coin jars. Check your drawers, your parents' shoeboxes, your grandparents' collections. Look for a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. That's your starting point, but don't stop there. Weigh the coin. A standard clad half-dollar weighs 11.34 grams. But if it's struck on a silver planchet, it'll weigh closer to 11.5 or 11.6 grams. That slight difference? It could mean a 5 or 6-figure payout. Can't weigh it at home? Take it to a jeweler, or better yet, a certified coin dealer. Have it checked. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC. A high-grade specimen, especially with silver content, is what makes collectors go wild, and once graded, it's no longer just a coin. It's a certified artifact. A rare piece of American minting history. One more thing, preserve it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't tape it or glue it or wrap it in plastic. Mishandling can destroy its value in seconds. Keep it in a soft flip or holder. Protect it like you would protect a stock certificate or a deed. Because that's what it could become, an asset that could change your financial future. Here's the reality: most people will never know the value of the coins they've held in their hands. They'll spend them. Toss them. Forget them, but not you, because now, you know the truth about the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. Now, you have the knowledge, the awareness, to look closer, think smarter, and act faster. The difference between a few cents and $901,000 is education. It's attention. It's courage to ask, could this be the one? So tonight, check that coin jar. Call your parents. Go through that old coffee can in the garage, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't let it slip away. Imagine pulling open your grandfather's old drawer, dusty, untouched, forgotten. Inside lies a small pile of coins that haven't seen daylight in decades. You grab one, curious, and there it is. A 1972 Kennedy half-dollar. No mint mark. Just another coin. Not quite, because this simple half-dollar could be worth not 10, not 100, but potentially up to $899,000. Yes, you heard that right, but wait. What makes it so valuable? Why would a coin you've likely seen dozens of times suddenly be the key to life-changing money? What if I told you that only a few of these coins exist in this elite condition? What if yours is one of them, and you've been letting it sit, unknowingly, among the loose change in your home? Don't move. Don't click away. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to uncover the truth behind this mysterious coin, reveal why it has no mint mark, what makes it worth nearly $1 million, and, most importantly, how to tell if the one in your possession is the real deal. Stay with me until the end, because the last thing you want is to be the person who gave away a fortune for 50 cents. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar was never meant to be rare. In fact, over 150 million were struck that year across 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the twist: most people don't realize that the no-mint mark version, struck in Philadelphia, has a secret. It wasn't the no-mint mark that made it valuable. It was a very specific and rare die error known as the Type 2 reverse, a small detail on the back of the coin that only expert eyes can spot. You see, the reverse design used on a tiny number of 1972 Philadelphia half-dollars was mistakenly taken from the proof dies used in San Francisco. That means this design was never meant to be on a coin struck in Philly. But a small number escaped into circulation. An accident. A fluke. And a golden opportunity. Less than 200 of these have ever been confirmed. That's right, out of over 150 million coins, only a microscopic fraction possess this specific reverse design, and here's where it gets wild. In 2016, one of these rare 1972 no-mint mark Type 2 Kennedy half-dollars, in pristine condition, sold for a staggering $899,000. That's not a fantasy. That's a fact. A real transaction. A collector with the right eye saw what others missed, and someone else paid nearly $1 million to have it. Now imagine, what if that coin had ended up in a tip jar? Or used for parking? Or thrown into a jar on someone's dresser? Because here's the truth: hundreds, maybe thousands, of people have seen this coin without ever realizing its worth, and some of them, they gave it away. Did you know? Here's something else that will shake you: this coin looks almost identical to the regular 1972 half-dollar. To the naked eye, there's no dramatic shine. No unique coloration. Nothing that screams, "I'm valuable." Only collectors, dealers, and informed people like you, after watching this, can recognize it. What you're holding isn't just metal. It's mystery. It's history. It's the chance to rewrite your financial future, one forgotten coin at a time. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have this coin? Here's what to do next. First, check the date. It must say 1972. Flip the coin over. If there's no mint mark under Kennedy's neck on the obverse side, that's a good sign. It means it was struck in Philadelphia, but here's where it gets intense. Turn your attention to the reverse. Specifically, to the bottom left of the eagle's shield. If the island of Cuba appears flattened or nearly missing, and the lines in the shield are faint, this may be the Type 2 reverse. The details are smoother, less defined than the more common Type 1 reverse. Next, protect it. Do not clean the coin. Do not polish it. Place it carefully in a soft, non-abrasive container or a coin flip, then, get it graded. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification is what transforms a coin from maybe valuable into a documented, collectible asset. After grading, check current listings, auction sites, and forums. Talk to a certified coin dealer who knows the difference between hope and fact. Because if yours is the real deal, it could change everything. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers like so many have before. There are people out there who unknowingly gave away what could have been their retirement. Their kids' college tuition. Their first home, but not you. You now have the knowledge. The power. The advantage. This is about more than a coin. It's about a moment. A chance. A whisper from the past that could echo into your future, and as you sit there, thinking about your old drawers, your boxes of keepsakes, your inherited collections, ask yourself, what else could be hiding in plain sight? Your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't ignore it. Don't delay, because some coins are just change. Yes. That 1980 Kennedy $50 with a tiny D mint mark, buried in your drawer, hiding in an old wallet, or resting in your childhood coin jar, could change everything. Sounds unbelievable. Good, because that's exactly what wealthy collectors are hoping you'll think. They don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to check your coins. They certainly don't want you to realize what that shiny, forgotten $50 could be hiding. So ask yourself this: have you ever come across a 1980 Kennedy $50 with a D on it? Do you even remember holding one? If your answer is yes, then don't move, because what you're about to learn might just be your last chance to catch this financial lightning in a bottle, before someone else finds it first. This is not a collector's tale, it's a hidden doorway to wealth. And at the end of this story, you'll know how to open it. But first, let me show you why this coin exists, and why it's now one of the most talked about $50 in numismatic history. The year is 1980. Ronald Reagan is on the campaign trail. Inflation is squeezing the American middle class. Gold and silver prices are swinging like never before. And inside the Denver Mint, something unusual happens. The Kennedy $50, already a symbol of American hope, minted in honor of a fallen president, is struck in enormous numbers. But in the chaos of rising metal costs and political unrest, a small batch of coins emerge that don't behave like the rest. These were no ordinary $50. While most 1980 D $50 were pushed into circulation and forgotten, a few slipped through the cracks. Some were double-struck. Some showed planchet errors. Some had misaligned dies. And others? Others were struck with a level of clarity and perfection that stunned even veteran graders. But here's where it gets interesting. That in 2022, one of these 1980 D Kennedy $50, a near-perfect MS 67 plus grade, was sold at a private auction for $895,000. Let that sink in. A 50-cent piece, nearly $1 million. The coin world was shaken. Collectors were stunned. And thousands of Americans began digging through boxes, jars, and closets, desperate to find one of their own. But why this coin? Why the 1980 D? Here's the secret. It was the year when the mint was shifting technologies. Transitional planchets, older blanks intended for previous years, may have slipped into production. Some coins had sharp design anomalies. Others had deeper fields or shifted lettering that only a trained eye would spot, and some are still unaccounted for. Let that chill your spine for a second, because these coins are out there. They could be in circulation, in a pawn shop bin, or sitting quietly in your grandfather's sock drawer. Now let me ask you, wouldn't you want to be the one who finds it, and would you even know how? Because here's the catch, these rare 1980 half dollars don't shout their value, they whisper it, and if you don't know what to look for, they'll pass through your fingers just like a regular coin. So here's what you need to do, right now. Go to your coin jars, your inherited collections, your childhood albums, search for a 1980 Kennedy half dollar with a D mint mark. That D tells you it was minted in Denver. Now, examine it carefully. Look at the edges. Is it unusually sharp? Does it have a double rim? Are there any die cracks, planchet flaws, or misalignments? If so, you may be holding something truly special. Next, check the coin's condition. A pristine specimen, shiny, scratch-free, no circulation wear, could qualify for a high MS, mint state, grade. That's where the real value lies. Coins graded MS 67 or higher are extremely rare for this year, and mint.to get an accurate evaluation, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. It may cost a small fee, but the payoff, it could change your life. But don't wait, because the coin market is waking up. Wealthy buyers are circling. And every day that passes, another rare coin disappears into a private collection, possibly forever. This is your moment, not just to find a valuable coin, but to preserve a piece of American history. To reclaim what others have overlooked. To turn a forgotten piece of metal into a fortune, because in the end, wealth doesn't always come in loud, obvious packages. Sometimes it's small, heavy silver, sometimes it has a president's face, sometimes it hides behind a D. And sometimes it's already in your hand. So the question is, will you recognize it when it comes? Because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Don't miss it, start looking today. And one of the most quietly powerful coins in American pockets is the 1996 Kennedy half dollar, with a tiny P mint mark. But here's the thing, most people will never notice the difference between an ordinary 1996 half dollar and the one that could sell for as much as $890,000. Yes. You heard that right. So before you cash in your coins, or worse, give them away, ask yourself, could you be holding the retirement plan you never knew you had? Because the secret behind this specific 1996 Kennedy coin is so unexpected, it's left even seasoned collectors stunned, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal why this coin, often dismissed as pocket change, might be your ticket to financial freedom. But don't skip ahead. Because if you miss even one detail, you could overlook a fortune. The question is, are you paying attention? Let's travel back to 1996. The internet was new. Gas was $1.23 a gallon. And the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was busy producing millions of Kennedy half dollars, routine, nothing fancy, but somewhere in that massive production run, something remarkable happened. Most 1996 Kennedy half dollars are easy to find. They're not rare in the way a 1909 SVDB cent is, for example. But among those millions, a very select few were struck with extraordinarily high detail, flawless surfaces, and in rare cases, minting anomalies that sent their value skyrocketing. And while the coin carries a P mint mark for Philadelphia, its true value has nothing to do with just the letter. It's the condition, the perfection, and the story behind the coin. Now here's where things get emotional. Point 1. Such coin, a 1996 Kennedy half dollar, graded as MS 68 by PCGS, sold for a jaw-dropping $890,000. Why? Because at that level of perfection, this coin becomes almost mythical. There are thousands of MS 65s, a few hundred MS 66s, but MS 68? That's Everest, and the saddest part, most people had no idea they ever owned one. They spent it. They rolled it into change. Or worse, used it in vending machines. Imagine that. A coin worth almost $1 million, used to buy a can of soda. You see, these rare conditions usually come from coins that were never circulated, maybe a roll that sat untouched in a safe, maybe a collector's folder never opened since the 90s. And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's not about whether you're rich or poor. It's not about being a coin expert. It's about paying attention, because this coin doesn't advertise its value. You have to know what to look for, and you have to look now, because with every passing year, fewer and fewer of these coins survive in mint state. Did you know, some of the highest value coins in US history were modern, everyday coins, not ancient relics. Not Civil War rarities, modern. Familiar. Overlooked, and that's exactly why the 1996 Kennedy half-dollar with a P mint mark is so important. That IT represents the ultimate irony, something most people ignore, becoming the key to unlocking generational wealth. So, what if it's already in your house? Now that you know the story, here's what to do. First, grab any 1996 Kennedy half-dollar you might have. Flip it. Look just above the date. If it shows a small P, that's the Philadelphia Mint. But don't stop there. What truly matters is the condition. Look for a coin with no scratches. No wear. A sharp, almost mirror-like finish. These are the coins that could be MS66, MS67, or if you're unimaginably lucky, MS68. Next, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can erase thousands of dollars from its value. Instead, place it in a protective coin flip or holder. Then, check its value online using trusted coin grading companies like PCGS or NGC. That if it looks promising, consider professional grading, because here's the truth, many life-changing coins never reach their potential because the owner never knew what they had. Don't let that be your story. And here's one more emotional truth, the Kennedy half-dollar isn't just a coin. It's a symbol that IT was born from tragedy, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and minted with hope, unity, and legacy. So when you hold that coin, you're not just holding metal. You're holding history. Potential. And in rare cases, wealth beyond imagination. Let that sink in. Every drawer. Every box of old change. Every envelope of forgotten coins in a loved one's attic, is an unopened chapter of your financial story. Will yours be the one where you find the $890,000 Kennedy half-dollar, or will it be the story of another treasure missed by just a moment? The clock is ticking. These coins aren't getting younger, and your opportunity? It could be sitting 3 feet away from you, right now. Go look, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer this very second.